I guess the first thing I have to ask you is how you're feeling, because it seems to be huge public, international news to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that I'm 100% pain-free before I come back. So just being cautious, making sure I don't have to deal with this again somewhere down the road.
Well, the season's been tough. It's been physically probably, we'll get to that in a minute, but let's kind of roll back. First, I just have to ask you, what's important to you these days? What's been important to you, not non-basketball, something that's important to you, non-basketball related?
I would say my faith with my relationship with God is very important, and my relationship with my family and close friends, and that's something that I like to do a lot, invest in and spend time with those people when I get some free time. So that's something I love doing. And in terms of hobbies, I like playing video games, play a lot of video games, and I like, when it's appropriate, eating a lot of candy. So I'm a kid in that area, but I can't eat too much during the season.
Well, we've got a candy store for you, no problem, up in Westchester. It'll fulfill all your candy needs.
All right.
But are you a mom's guy? Are you a mom's kid or a dad's kid? Are you a little more after your mom, or a little more after your dad?
I can be a mama's boy in some sense, but sometimes she'll disagree with that statement. Kind of depends on how I'm feeling on the day. But obviously, my parents are extremely close to me, and I love them to death. So I always want to make sure they're happy and they're okay with everything that I'm doing.
An important lesson. Give me, obviously, when I see something, I think we're all a little amazed. Honestly, not a lot of times as, a kid go to an Ivy League school, almost look like he's getting cut, he's running, and all of a sudden, now, it's almost like you've transformed into a Superman figure to some degree. But usually, a lot of that comes from the parenting. I've been a parent myself. Is there a couple life lessons? What are a couple life lessons, that when you think about your parents, they've had that kind of impact?
The first thing they've always taught me is really to make sure that my relationship with God is on point, and that's the first and central thing. And after that, they always emphasized academics, taking care of my academics before athletics, before friends, before hobbies. And so because in this day and age, you get hurt or something, and it may change my career forever. Who knows? Anybody's career, and but if you have academics, that'll always be there. You can always get a job with the degree, and you can take care of yourself that way. And so, their rule for me was I need to make sure I do all my homework and prepare for my test, and after that, I can play as much basketball as I want. And so that's what I focused on. Try to get ahead, do my work, and then play the rest of the day. And the other thing that they taught me that's always stuck out is to really give your best effort, and then to be okay with the results, to trust God with the results. And that's something that, for me, I've learned is taking a lot of pressure off of me, just to know that I can live with the results as long as I know that my effort is there. And so that's something that's always been very important.
Faith. Divine intervention. Do you believe that maybe there's a plan? Is there a plan here, maybe?
Absolutely. I think for me, being in my own story, I realized there's so many things that I couldn't control that really had to have happened. And you can start all the way from when I was born. Both my parents are 5'6", 110 pounds. I'm 6'4", 200. I'm 70 pounds heavier than both my brothers. And that's not, I eat a lot of candy, but I don't eat that much candy.
Or we all want to know what type of candy.
Yeah, right. And we can go down the line, so many different things in my story. My brother saving my life. I was drowning at the age of 5. If that never happened, if he was never there, I obviously wouldn't be here today. You can go down the road, high school, running into my high school coach, getting hurt, coming back just in time to be able to play in this tournament that allowed me to get recruited by Harvard. End up going to Harvard. I got Coach Amaker came in my sophomore year, changed my career around. went through the draft process. I didn't get drafted, but one team, Dallas Mavericks, gave me a summer league spot, and you play 5 games in summer league. One of them happened to be against Washington Wizards, who happened to have the #1 pick, who chose John Wall. Played in that summer league. Happened to have my best quarter of basketball in the fourth quarter of that game against John Wall when Roddy Boubois got hurt. So you can go down the road and the same thing, getting cut. Iman getting hurt that morning, so I got picked up by the Knicks, so I ended up with the Knicks. If I didn't do that, I would still be with another team. And
so you believe in divine intervention?
Absolutely, I can keep going.
It is
just a lot of things that happen, really, that are just, I wish I could sit here and say I controlled everything and did everything right, and that's why this has happened, but I really can't, and I'll be the first to admit that.
So maybe this was a gift. Maybe this was a blessing, the whole process, and a message sent to many people that, it's about being ready and about working hard.
Yeah, I think definitely.
I got to ask you about the Harvard thing, only because, first of all, was that a hard school for you? I mean, were you up to par on that? Because you still graduated, and it's hard to play serious ball and get through a school, an Ivy League school like that, and play on the level you were playing. What was that experience like?
It was pretty tough in the beginning, just because I learned very quickly you can't just study for a test the night before. It doesn't work out like that in college. I struggled my first year, and after that I kind of learned to balance my time, and I learned to schedule. Ivy League, you play Friday, Saturday, and so you really can't expect to get any homework done on Friday or Saturday. And Thursday if you're traveling, and so I started to get used to that and tried to make adjustments, and then by the end I was doing better in school and learning to manage my time.
So you made it work?
Yeah, I think so. I graduated, so.
And it's something you should be proud of. I mean, it's an amazing feat in itself, really, when you think about it. What's going on in your head now, just as an overall, that's different than what was going on in your head 6 months ago and possibly even a year? What's the difference going on in your mind?
Everything. I think everything I think about now is just different because the situation is different, and now I can. 6 months ago, 2 months ago, all I wanted was to be on the team for the rest of the season, and that's all I could think about every day was hoping I didn't get cut. And now it's just, it's different, and I'm happy to be here, to be in New York, to be able to say I'm a New York Knick, and to be able to, focus on the team, the season, who we're playing against, where we want to go, a playoff push, and so, being able to think about those things.
But your mindset, and maybe it's an obvious answer, but it just seems like your mind, even in the game, is different than your mind 8 games ago. The turnovers, just the maturity, your shot selection. Is somebody in your mind? Is somebody helping you?
Definitely the coaches. Coaches are always talking to me, and it's an adjustment process. And I think, for me, I had a great 2 weeks, and then I struggled, and I had to learn to make adjustments, and then the defense makes adjustments, then I have to make some more adjustments, and so it's a constant chess match. And I'm really just learning a lot and trying to take everything in, and having guys like Barron and Bibby and Melo, they're always talking to me in my ear about what I need to do to be better, and the coaching staff, and so getting a lot of advice, it helps me grow, but definitely still a long way to go.
What's the best part of being you today? What's the most fun part about being Jeremy Lin?
Playing basketball for a living. I love being able to go to work, and that means go to the gym. And so, that's a blessing. I try to remind myself every day. Some days I get a little tired, but then I realize I'm still going to a gym, and I'm still going to play the sport that I love, that I grew up playing. And so, definitely a blessing, and something that I try to make sure I cherish every single day.
Is there a difficult thing about being you these days? Is it something that you wish you do without?
Yeah. I wish, I love you guys. I love the fans.
But there's a but. There's a but.
But when I go to eat, I like being able to eat with my family. And not always with the fans. Sometimes I like eating with the fans, but not all the time. So, but no, in all seriousness, I think there's less privacy, which is tough, just because I'm a more private person and things like that. But it's definitely something I embrace, the platform, and just being here in New York. It's it's the center of everything. Everything's always bigger in New York, and so definitely something that I really appreciate.
Now you realize today they did this poll. I'm sure you heard about it, about most popular players in New York.
I didn't hear about it.
Well, I was excited about it. I always love these polls. I'm not sure who they're polling, but in ESPN we have to believe it's creditable. And they had you as the most popular player now in New York. And what was interesting was your popularity was, you had Derek Jeter, you had Mariano, and Eli right behind you there. So you kind of ousted Derek Jeter there.
Well, hey, that's more of a credit to you guys than it is to me. So you guys did the voting, so I appreciate that.
But you are a little bit of a blessing, I mean, to some degree, where it's one thing when you get hot in a town like this, but you're hot in this world. Like, you become kind of like a worldwide guy. Now, are you feeling that? I mean, you're feeling, the entire, I'm traveling in Europe and I'm seeing articles about you and things like that. Are you feeling that? I mean, do you feel that pressure when you go around even traveling? There's people traveling from all over the world to come here to watch you play.
I think this summer I might feel that a little more just because during the season I'm kind of in my own bubble. We go city to city. We don't really go anywhere or read too much outside of that. But one thing I can say is social media, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, just a lot of people from a lot of different places around the world, and I'll get tweets in different languages I don't understand, and I obviously assume they're nice things, and so I'm thankful to that, to the fans for that, because I do know a lot of people have gone out of their way to encourage me, and that means a lot to me.
Are you a collector? Or are you a saver?
I wasn't a huge, big time collector, but one thing I did collect was Michael Jordan basketball cards.
Rookies? Fleer 1987?
No, those are a little more expensive, a little out of my price range. I just kind of took what I could get.
But you like Jordan? Was Jordan one of your favorite players growing up?
Jordan was my favorite player growing up, for sure.
So would I find a Michael Jordan something when I come visit your apartment, or?
Right now? Actually, no.
I assume you're off the couch, and we've already worked through that. Although, it's kind of common a young guy
honestly,
being on the couch.
If you would come over, you would see Steiner stuff in my house. So I got 3 of them in there.
I like that. But not much of a collector at all. Not really through the years, and
not too much.
Not too much. An idol growing up for you? Was there somebody you looked up to? Always said, I want to be a little like.
Definitely basketball-wise, I want to be like Mike. In terms of off the court, my older brother was a big inspiration. So
now, I guess the question really is on your brothers is who's winning those battles? Because I think your brothers could play a little bit, and who's beating up who?
You talking about in the past or now?
I assume more like when you guys were kids. More
when we were kids.
Yeah.
My older brother beat me every single time.
Really?
And that gave me a lot of motivation. And so it was weird. He was, we competed about everything. He was always 2 inches taller than me for 4 straight years. And so I would hang from monkey bars to try to grow. I would drink milk, take calcium pills. I tried to do everything to become taller than him. And so we were really competitive, but he was always better than me at basketball, faster, stronger. Every time we got in a fight or wrestled, he would win too. So I would just call my mom.
It's funny you say that. It's very common with an Eli and Peyton having that same kind of. Was there another sport, or was it always just all basketball?
We played tennis for a while. We played soccer. and then we would play flag football and different things. We loved playing different. We went swimming, and so we did a lot of different sports growing up. But for some reason, we always just kept coming back to basketball.
That was your favorite?
Absolutely, yeah.
A little baseball, a little football, or?
Actually, not baseball. I've never played baseball.
Ever?
I played IM softball in college. I don't know if that counts. It's kind of close.
Maybe. On the Knicks, just moving over to the Knicks for a minute. Is there a player on the team that has given you the most guidance? And if so, what's been the most inspirational or spiritual guidance you've been able to get from a?
I would say probably Tyson and Jared. One thing about Jared that stuck out to me was he embraced me before I ever played a minute for the Knicks, and he made sure, he always makes sure everyone's okay. So, when I first joined the team, I only really knew Landry. And so he would make sure, hey, Jeremy, welcome to the team. You want to go out to eat, grab a bite to eat, catch up, see how you're doing. And so that stood out to me, just to kind of build a friendship and a relationship, and that extends onto the court. And Tyson has given me a lot of advice, not only on the court, but off the court, in terms of, understanding the business side of things, understanding how to handle everything, life, and so both of them have been big brothers, mentors, in a lot of different areas, and they're constantly, giving me advice, even today, just whether it's how to handle an injury or how to handle media, different things like that, and they've been through it. They've been in the league 10 years or so, and so they've been through everything.
Are you feeling? I'm trying to get just a sense from you here, and. I mean, you seem extremely grateful, obviously, and I think there's no question that I get a sense that you're a little overwhelmed. Is this overwhelming, all this? Is it all like overwhelmed to have all this come so quick? Or is it something you feel starting to settle in for you now?
It's starting to settle in, but the one thing that always I could go back to is just once the game started, everything else went away. And once the game starts, it's just basketball, and that's what I really enjoy, is being out there with my teammates and playing and battling and going through adversity and winning some games. And so during those times, it's just it's pure joy when make a run or you close out a game or something like that. And so that's definitely something that I try to always keep in perspective, despite everything else that's been going on.
So you can still find the joy and fun in the game every night?
Yeah, when I play.
Just changing the subject over just a little bit, I wanted to kind of roll back to this, your foundation. Because I know you mentioned, about your faith, and always with faith and religion and being born again is always a closeness to helping others. Tell me a little bit about your dream of your foundation, a little how that works.
Or
how that's going to work.
The foundation, it's the Jeremy Lin Foundation. That's the name. Not as creative as we should have been, but I think our main goal is I have seen what it's like to be a sinner. I've experienced God's love and His grace, and what I want to do is be able to use the foundation to spread love back into the community. And there's a lot of needs in this world, and there's a lot of people who are hurting, and there's a lot of injustice. And I think having this platform, having the resources, having the community and the opportunity, is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And so we want to be able to invest in kids' lives, and we want to give back to the community. We want to help them, whether it's financially, with food or education, and we want to make sure that we can build a system where they can find a safe place to go and whether it's do schoolwork or get a nice meal, and hopefully eventually build towards becoming self-sufficient, getting into college, getting degrees, getting a job, and really making a difference, and hopefully they can end up giving back when it's all said and done.
So this is something you're committed to?
Yeah.
Family? Everyone's in?
Yeah. I have my brother and sister-in-law on the board of the foundation, and my parents giving me a lot of advice, and my little brother would be out there when we do events and when we meet the kids and invest in them and start to develop that friendship. And so we'll all be involved.
Well, it is amazing to have that. That would be special in itself. And it's amazing to have the support mechanism around you.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's special. I mean, it's not always a given. As you know, you see some players. I mean, you watch some players, and some of their parents haven't even watched them play.
Yeah. I mean, my parents came out to New York, and so they're out here indefinitely just watching me play. So definitely.
Feeling the pressure, though, when mom in the audience?
Actually, I play better when my mom's in the audience.
You play better?
Because I know if I go back and I don't play well, I'm going to hear about it. So I'm out there just playing hard, getting ready, making sure I do
Now you know
right
where
thing.
she's sitting?
No, I was. I mean, I do play better when she's there. I don't know why, but I don't. I usually try not to look up at her, especially after a turnover. You know, keep your eyes down.
I believe that. You know, we'll bring a couple teammates on. We have Amon Shepard and Mr. Novak.